June is the month of men's mental health, and it's something that has been pushed aside for so long. I decided to make a video and go do something with a friend of mine, Zach, something that I've never done before, and have a open heart-to-heart chat with him as well. And it was good to get to know him more as a person, as well as talking about mental health and men's mental health. So enjoy this week's video. And yeah. There he is right there, the man Zachy D.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Ooh, she's burnt.
Like, I get why they call you Jesus, but like, when are you ever gonna cut it?
I don't know.
Shave for a cure?
No.
No?
No, I already did that.
Fair enough.
It didn't want my hand. Do you want me to look at the camera?
Whatever, you can look at me, you can look at the camera, you can look at the distance. It's completely up to you.
Try both.
Try both.
Yeah.
I'm so out of breath. How far up do you think you say we are?
Probably 80.
80. So not even a third of the way. Oh, I'm so unfit.
We'll take a rest here.
Yes. First, I just thank you for taking me on this trip today, because it is definitely a good one.
It's pretty nice up here.
It really, really is. I see why you do this.
It's so free.
Being completely open and honest, how are you today?
I think I've had better days, but I've definitely been in worse shape in my life.
Mm.
It's like currently in like a little bit of a middle ground, I think, like trying to find a new job and trying to save money to go overseas and whatnot. Feels like a bit, I guess, restricted in a sense, so naturally the emotions sort of play into that, but overall pretty good. Definitely a lot better in comparison I have been in the past.
Is this a way for you to like clear your head and just be one with yourself? Is this like really your sort of therapy, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Climbing's been a part of my life for like 18 months now, and it started when I was looking for something to do rehab after I had my knee surgery and an ACL reconstruction, and about 9 months after that I needed some sort of physical exercise, something to get back into. I didn't want to get back into Quidditch because it's too dangerous, pretty much. And I decided to look for something that was a little bit more local. I was living down near the hospital in Kawana. I was like, oh, I've always wanted to try rock climbing, or give it a go, I guess. I've always enjoyed climbing these sort of mountains, so I was like, maybe it's the same thing. And they had a free trial, went along, and after 2 sessions, I was like, I have to do this full time. Like, I just...
Oh, is that beer wire over there? Alright.
It just sticks up, hey?
Well, I made it past the biggest part of the climb. Zach is a few paces ahead of me. Just up there. You know what he says? He says, oh, if I'm going too fast for you, let me know. I forgot to do that. But it's okay, catching up. When would be the last time you cried? Would it be like that 2 or odd weeks ago, or would it be more recent, more
once a week, or maybe once a fortnight? Because it is in essence a release of emotion that's been built up. So there's like songs and stuff like that trigger it for me, if in case I'm feeling particularly pent up. But I don't see it as a bad thing at all.
But sometimes it's okay to cry.
Oh, like... no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not weird about crying. Like, I openly cry in front of my friends because it's expression of emotion. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
It's funny that you actually mention songs that pent you up, because now Stranger Things has done a similar thing.
Oh.
The running up that hill, trying to escape like Vecna.
Haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, mate.
Behind on the times, man. I don't really watch TV series too much, so...
No?
No. I've heard it's good. It's a whole another time sink that I just really don't have it spare for.
Wow.
little secluded area down here.
It's a beautiful view.
Yeah.
And then there's the ground beneath.
Having a lot of friends here, particularly in Quidditch, I think it was a good transition back to having a big group of people that I could spend time with and not feel pressured to be a particular way or act a certain way. I think having a really good social network is really important, whether that be a lot of people or even just a quality few. It has massive impact on your life, particularly if you're feeling down, you need to talk to someone. Having someone that you know that will be there for you. And I'm very fortunate that I've met a lot of beautiful people over my years, and I'm grateful that when I came back they were just as willing to open up and allow me to, I guess.
Do you want to name a few? Or is that...
I mean, I can. I met a fella called Caleb Shepherd in Quidditch quite a few years ago. It's probably 2015, so 7 years ago now. Very quickly became one of my best friends. Another fella that I actually met through him, who also joined Quidditch for a short amount of time, Elliot, he's a very good friend of mine. He's actually the one that's lost all that weight. He's coming climbing with me now. So my best friend that I've known for 24 years now, Jordan. He's always been there for me. We're like brothers. We're born pretty much at the same time. We lived 50 meters away from each other for most of our lives, so it's I guess there's a kind of a bond there that even if I spent time with him, I didn't really need to talk. Like, we're just comfortable in each other's presence, and it's definitely very therapeutic having someone that you're that close with, or you feel that comfortable around, so you don't have to act or be or do. You just can exist in each other's company.
You don't have to do those stereotypical like manly things like drink beer, play rugby or anything like that.
I don't do any of those anyways. I'd be up shit creek if I had to. But yeah, so I think like there is a lot more, and I won't list them all, but they definitely know who they are.
Yeah, I don't know where anything is, so you're just like the tour guide.
Have a look north.
Yep.
Maroochydore.
Yeah, right.
Caloundra.
Oh yeah, because that's the beach there, the water. Wow.
North is like this is north, obviously, because the water's over here.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that is Caloundra, that big, and then the one north of that is Maroochydore.
Wow.
The fog's pretty bad today, actually. I find that being down or sad, depressed, I think the main thing you have to realize that everything does come and go. All the feelings in our body, our heart, all the things that we do feel, they're all temporary. Happiness as well. It comes and goes just as all the other things do. I think it's mainly focusing on working through those emotions and not trying to push them aside. Because a lot of people pretend to be something that they're not, and it's delaying the inevitable.
Yep.
This is going to sound really pretentious maybe, but the people who are unwilling to talk about their emotions, particularly men, are generally hidden behind the ego where they don't want for people to see them as sad. They don't want to be seen as weak. They don't want to be seen as emotional. Because, for a lot of time, there's been a really big pressure on the man to be, stoic, solid, not emotional, and that needs to break. That whole cycle, like for me, I've always been a very emotional person, so I've very, very much been in tune with how I'm feeling. Yeah. But I have friends that just refuse to speak about their emotions, and at the end of the day, it eats them up. Like you can't escape it, and eventually it'll come out in one way or another, whether that be aggression or whether that be huge bouts of depression or anxiety, whatever it may be. If you ignore the emotions that you have, they'll just pop up and appear in other means.
I know.
I've tried to do this take so many times and get it perfect, but there is no perfect way about this. So I'm just gonna say it how it is, really. I said this to Zach during the talk and through the climb, and I'm gonna let you guys know now as well. I went through the lowest point in my life the night before and thought about ending everything because I bottled up all my emotions and everything that was happening to me for the past, I don't even know how long. My recent breakup, how I felt at work, my stress about uni and not knowing what I wanted to do with life, and just everything in between, bawling and getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bottling it up and not really talking to anyone about it. I thought about stopping. And I wrote 3 letters, 2 to my parents and 1 to somebody that I trust with my life here at university. And it wasn't until I got non-stop calls and messages from this person, who will remain nameless, that I thought it is worth staying around, and there are people that do care. Your life is worth it. Don't let it all bottle up and just take an unnecessary turn. That's that. Mum, I'm okay now. Please don't fret.
Like, you have to express it.
Yeah.
Oh no, I absolutely do. And look, sad to hear that you don't feel that you can reach out to people about it. But it is a pretty common thing. Because I said, like, guys are supposed to be, the strong one, but I don't think being emotional is not being strong. I don't think being emotional is by any means weak. If anything, it's the opposite. If you're comfortable enough with yourself to be able to express how you feel to another person, that is way more mature and strong emotionally than someone who is bottling it up or refusing to talk about it or just ignoring it, because that's already past the acceptance part of, like, this is how I feel, now I need to get help, or now I need to talk to someone about it.
Yep.
You're already past the hard part. So it is a very backwards way of seeing emotional strength, because emotional intelligence rather, because the more you're aware of your emotions, the more in tune you are with them, the more likely you are to speak about them, and therefore the less likely you are to bottle up and go down the spiral. So it's very important to be able to express it. Just even one person that you trust, and whoever that may be, whether that be a family member, a good friend, a therapist. It's definitely important to have, I think, a professional that you can call on if you really need it.
Yeah.
But unless it's, particularly bad, just having a lighthearted conversation about it with friends, family members generally does help at least relieve the pressure and the tension that you have inside.
We are above them. Holy shit. That's crazy. That's coming right for us.
That's kind of odd.
Oh, no.
Hello?
What the fuck?
I thought it was dead set just going to crash into that.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
If I did. Kind of poo to get to.
You want me to sit there? Right there?
No.
I mean, it's a nice view, but like... No.
Okay. I try not to be prejudiced towards anything, because at the end of the day, everyone's got their own story. You never know what's going on.
Yep.
That they might just need to be able to be themselves, because they can't do that anywhere else. So
Because there's so many ways, and stereotypically for years, men are supposed to be tough and hard-ridden and this and that. And
I think there's no clear-cut way of what a man should be. What a real man is that they are comfortable in their own skin and they make everyone else feel the same way. They don't push their views, they don't make people feel uncomfortable, they allow people to be who they are and they feel like they can be who they are.
Yep.
I think real men, they should be emotionally sound, like understanding at least. You don't have to be, okay all the time, because realistically nobody is. I think understanding that it is easier if you get help from people and you allow people in, and you don't have to have this facade, this ego that, I'm fine, I'm doing great, thanks. It doesn't help anybody. Yep. Because you're not being you around the people that obviously care about you for whatever reason. And if they don't care about you, you've got the wrong group. Like,
100%.
Yeah. If the people are, superficial, then you've got the wrong friend group. I think that's what I would say is the most close to what you would define as a real man.
Yep. Emotionally
intelligent. As cliche as that sounds.
and cliche, it's called cliche for a reason, because it is true most of the time.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with being cliche.
The man, the myth, the legend, Zahidi has literally jogged off and away. My knees are dead. I don't know how he's doing that. How, man?
Don't try and make people feel bad about themselves. Don't be prejudiced. Don't be, don't treat people like shit. Treat people how you want to be treated. Honestly, the world would be a lot a better place if everyone did, but,
Can't make a perfect world.
That's pipe dreaming, of course.
I saw you running and I'm like, my knees are not capable of doing that right now.
See where the rock first emerges from the bush?
Yes.
That's the climb down.
Fuck.
That's how far we just went.
Wow.
Crazy.
Impressive.
If we were going to get you to look into the lens and say, if we could, if you could potentially go back in time, it's this, and again, it's a cliche thing, if you could go back in time and tell your 5-year-old self or your 6-year-old self or something that could help you in life now, what would you say to yourself?
I definitely would try and be a lot more comfortable in my own skin, and however I'd word that. Care less about what other people think, and just do what you want to do.
Yep.
And that's really all that matters. If you live a happy life, what else matters really?
Now we're in the present, but when you go into the future, and you need something to look back at, to go, everything's going to be okay. If you had something to tell yourself to know everything will be okay, what would you say?
Yes, just keep working hard on yourself, and everything else kind of falls into place around you. Like, you keep working on yourself, the people who are important to you will present themselves, and job opportunities will present themselves eventually, and as long as you just keep doing you and the things you want to do, that's all that's important.
Yep.
At the end of the day, I'd prefer to live a happy life than one that I've worked it all and I have no time left for myself. Even I know that now. So it's not really a future thing.
No, that's fine, but obviously there'll be times where you forget it, so sometimes you've just got to have that to reassure yourself and just come around to again. So
yeah, I definitely have days where I don't feel like I'm doing enough, and I don't feel like I'm working hard enough, and I don't feel present enough, I don't feel more or less good enough, but all of those things, they do come and go, and it's just staying focused on where you want to be and who you want to be, and not as a who you want to be to other people, but who you want to be for yourself.
Yep.
That's what's important.
Alrighty, we're back down now. I'm back at my car, and I don't know how to do this. That red car there, that's Zach. Fucking legend.
eating his nana. What a fucking legend. Thank you for today, Zach. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Before we turn off the cameras, who would you like to thank for helping create the man that you are today? I know you said Elliot earlier and a couple of your other mates.
They're influential on me being confident and happy, I think. But I think the most amount of influence would have come from my parents and my nana. She's long past, but she's very important, particularly in the early stages. She was like my main sort of person that I spent time with. My mum, she's always pushed me to be a better person toward everyone and try not to be prejudiced and be as open-minded as possible. And I think my brother was a pretty good mould. Even though we didn't really get along too well in the early stages, I definitely still looked up to him and things that he's done in his life. There's a lot of influential people throughout the years, and to name the full list would be impossible. But I think every single person that I've either spent time with or had a relationship with, I've tried to take positives from each and really try and implement that. So I think it's everybody that I've met in my life has influenced me in one way or another. And the main sort of core group is the people that kept me going. The support group was my family, so and really close friends.